Hey guys, it's Randy Rentala, the Oracle of Origins, coming to you live from Watersound, Florida, in my house in the Greenway subdivision. Today's episode is with my distinguished guests, Kevin and Kristen Sandow. They are buyers of current property here in Origins, and we're about to take advantage of the market. And that's what this episode is going to be about today, guys. Taking advantage in a market that nobody says you can. Watch, I'm going to make that happen. All right, so guys, welcome.
Thank you.
And what we'd like to talk about today is your experience and how you became part of the Origins family. I remember when Kristen had walked in, because it was just Kristen who had walked in, and then it began.
Mother-in-law.
Yeah, and then it really began. And that's what it was. It was your mother-in-law.
It was my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And I had Ken's and Cole.
Yeah. So at that time, you guys had a home right below us here, right on 30A, and it's considered a beach home, right? You'd come down to visit. Please tell us about your experience.
So we moved down here for 3 months during COVID and then bought a beach house shortly thereafter and met some neighbors who were we were kind of deciding how do we get closer to the beach house, because at the time we were living in central Wisconsin, so freezing cold. And we were trying to figure out, like, how do we get closer to the beach house, because we had no reason to be in Wisconsin. We wanted to be closer to the beach house. So we looked at Jacksonville that trip because it was over Thanksgiving, 4 Thanksgivings ago now. And we looked at Jacksonville just a few days before. And someone had said to us, I was kind of like, I don't want to go to Origins. It's so cookie cutter. So I didn't even really want to come in here at first. And then someone was like, if it were me and I were raising kids at this time, I would move right across the street to Origins.
And this is before Publix. So
before all the infrastructure up front. That's a good point.
There was just a white bridge on 98.
And I was supposed to go to Target. And started going to Target. I was just like, let me just go check it out, and pulled in and went to the sales center and walked in, and they gave me Randy and basically told Randy, we're a family of 5. This is what we're looking for, trying to reproduce this. And he knows the builder so well. So he just directed me towards, first of all, the house model, and second of all, the area that we'd want to be in, and then the builder who would meet our needs and be a little bit more flexible on what we wanted to make it our home.
And that's what made the difference with Kristen and our relationship was I always want to expand and push the limits. And that's what I'm known for. Again, troublemaker, call me whatever you want, but I just try to make the dream happen. And when she started speaking, I already knew inside my heart we could get it done. And I knew I'd have to fight for a few things, but I knew I could get it done. And it has evolved to even beyond that in this day and age. I mean, we are actually truly semi-custom for the most part. I mean, it's a fun part. And that's what, second part of what we're going to speak about is their opportunity with their next home that we're going to build. But that was the blessing that we had, is meeting each other, because I don't know if it would have happened, honestly.
I don't either.
Again, it was a perfect match for that type of situation, for what you were looking for. And I recognized that. And I looked at it as a challenge, and here we are.
Yeah, we had some challenges. But and we went and we looked at Rose Court, and I called my husband on the way to Target and said, we're lot 29.
That's simple. And that's the funny thing. So I had already picked my lot, and we're in the same division. We're actually at my house. We are in lot 50 Greenway. They're in lot 29 Greenway, and we're literally 6 houses apart.
About that, yeah.
And there's multiple builders in Greenway, and we're down to about 5 main properties, and then we have golf course lots. But new opportunities are coming, and we've come up with a plan, because that was the best thing, because being neighbors and not just being an agent that lives on site, and I hate saying that, I'm just a person, guys. People ask me all the time, well, how can you live in the community that you're selling in? And I wonder, why are you asking me that? What do I have to hide? If you need me, I'll be there. I mean, I think that's more of a luxury of anything to help out, but that's always how I've been. It's like, okay, I have nothing to hide here, and I'm here to help. I really believe that what you see is what you get with me, and that kind of separates, because a lot of people will be faking this and that, and I'm not. I'm a straightforward guy. I can only work within the parameters, but I also expand those parameters of who I work with, meaning my builders, to the point where now they give me the luxury of making decisions in a lot of cases. And it's because they trust me. They see that I'm not just trying to make a sale, or that I actually care. And I think that's what has created this relationship, especially because you do too. Because even get to knowing you two, and this is Kevin and Kristen Sandow, and you said it was middle of Wisconsin, right? So the big transition down here, I mean, how has that been for you and your family?
Pretty easy.
See, I love that.
The only, coming from Philadelphia area originally and then moving to the Midwest, like you don't have, like 98, getting used to 98, I think is the biggest thing, but schools are amazing. The community has been amazing. We've met amazing friends, and we've only been here a short bit.
If someone were to ask me what's the biggest difference about living down here, I think that a lot of people would find that because this is such a transient community, the idea of adults breaking into social circles and being able to develop friendships is so, everyone's on the same page. No one is native here. So the ability to find circles, find your group, it's so much more open than other areas we've been to, because people are from there. They have long-standing relationships.
High school friends.
Yeah, high school friends, or people that they went to college with, whatever the case may be. This area is so much more embracing to the idea of newness, openness, new people. It's an attraction that anybody who wants to move down here is starting over like everybody else.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we hear that a lot, is everyone's kind of in the same boat.
Yeah. We're all dating.
And that helps. Yeah, correct. I love that.
We're all dating.
Yeah. And so that's the other thing too. We've seen how people have evolved, especially with families, because that's one thing about Origins. I mean, I've got 4 children myself. You guys got 3. We have multiple families that are moving in here who have loads of children as well. But it's so diverse. And you can find any pocket. There's no one specific pocket in here that has, I guess, more family-oriented or empty nesters or retirees than others. It's a really great mix. And so the new community that we're speaking of now is the Powell Landing East opportunity. So again, we got together about a month ago, and I explained to them that there's these wonderful lots that are coming up near Lake Powell in Powell Landing East. Now it's further in, because right now we're approximately about a minute, I'd say, to the highway, right? Yeah, we are. Greenway's in a fabulous location, right? And it's going to be hard to leave, but even it attracts myself out there because the lots are so big, and they're right across from Lake Powell. There's conservation area behind there. So what I did is I went out there one day, and our developer, St. Joe, actually put in the common areas, and it really came to life. You saw all this green space. And then I started envisioning, wow, I could see our kids playing out here. And then when we got to see the size of the lots, it was incredible. Nothing we've seen so far. So I gave them a call and said, hey, would you guys like to meet out there on a whim? And just so they could see it, because I knew they would be in the same situation as I just wanted to see, what is that feeling that you guys had? Because I know what I had, and it was genuine. And so when we brought them out here, how did you guys see it?
I mean, it's beautiful. It's a waterfront property and green space everywhere, because that is the one thing about, we live on a street. Correct. And there's not a lot of green space. So for the kids to go outside and play football, it's not so easy. But right in front of these lots, there's a huge green space. There's a huge
2 acres. There's 2 acres in front of all the properties, which is incredible. And then behind the properties is a whole different animal. I mean, heck, it's a football field. It really is. And then there's the conservation forest area, because, I mean, honestly, when I grew up, we played in the woods. And this,
not here.
Maybe not here, but then you have Lake Powell. So it's just something different. But the sheer size of the lots, I think, is what stands out too. You actually have distance between homes because, in all honesty, a lot of people are moving here that are coming from acreages. Not, even a half acre is big. Here, if you get a half acre, you're on a state style lot here, honestly, in Florida. So in Origins, it's even smaller. A large lot in Origins is pretty much a quarter acre. If you can find over a quarter acre, I mean, that's saying something. But with that, you're going to have large homes right next to each other. So it doesn't matter if you're in the $2 to $3 million plus division or the $6 to $1 million division. Every home is fairly close to each other. But when you find opportunities like what we have in Powell Landing East, these are game changers because they're very unique, and that's kind of what you look for. And this is a perfect time for people to take advantage of the situation, especially with the market that we're currently in right now, which we consider a moderate market. But right now, builders are actually giving a little bit more leeway, a lot more modifications, a lot more opportunities that we've come up with a plan that we think is going to be huge, because what we can do here in this current market, in this new opportunity, because that's the other thing too, when you're moving into the new developments, you're going to be around construction. you know? So that's something that you got to kind of consider and weigh if that's important to you. But usually when you're in the new construction areas, you're going to pay entry level pricing. Well, this is not just entry level. This is actually modification levels. I mean, we're going to almost customizing a home. And that's very rare. And I don't care what you're spending, even though that particular section, it's a 2 million plus community, but tell me anywhere else in this area that you can do what we're about to do on these size lots. You can't. And that's the thing. You cannot find that. And that's what makes these so attractive.
A friend of ours yesterday had mentioned that he considers his lot, which is a wooded lot behind him, to be a unicorn. In Origins. And then when we were telling him about the prospective lot opportunity that we're looking at now, he said that's a unicorn because it's that unique and that rare. And the market, you can't control it. There's nothing that we can do about it. But if you can exercise a degree of, not to say aggressive, but if you can exercise the wherewithal to understand that, hey, when this comes back to a different level, you can ride that upside potential and be in a better position for you and your family.
And that's the idea. And that's what we're going to really indulge ourselves in. And we've already started. You know, they've seen some of my drawings and everything else because we're collaborating again to cause trouble. We are going to be troublemakers together.
How much time did we spend on the second floor laundry room?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. You guys have brought in some great ideas that actually people have started to do after the fact in here. But with this new situation that we have where we can actually add value to the home, but keep you at the same level of pricing where you should be able to sell your home now, but you're going to get a better home. That's what we're doing here. And that's what's really great about the opportunity. And I hope everybody understands this. This is just like with interest rates. When interest rates are 3% and 4%, you better take advantage of that, right? Because they're not going to be here forever. Well, this situation won't be either. Not all the builders don't want to get into custom, but they want to sell homes. So in this case, what you do is you find a builder who's willing to customize with you, and you see what he's willing to do for you at the right price that fits your budget. And so that's what we've done. So I've already done the research. I've already got in with the builders. I've explained it to you guys. And so what we're going to do is basically take what you have currently, your value, and what you have in your home, and we're going to try to get you pretty much the same price point, but more home. That's exactly what people need to get involved with right now, because this will not last forever. We are planning to do some special things with your new home. It's really going to be, I mean, heck, we're going to get to rename it, honestly. But for what we're doing to this home, we're going to, it may be the Sando special, you know, seriously. I mean, that's going to be the fun part. And you know what? That might be something that we actually get to do as a perk. I think that's actually a new one. Put that one on the list too. So
when you say more house, that can mean different things to different people.
Correct.
But I think for us, more house means additional functionality that fits our purpose and what has a little bit more of ease for our day-to-day lifestyle. And so this customization component adds a dimension to the house that would be more fluid for our daily lifestyle.
Fantastic point. And that's another reason why, even right now, if somebody doesn't really want to move, because moving's not easy at all. But if you can get more, because a lot of cases like us here, even with us in our home, we're still filling it out, what we can and can't do, what we don't like and like. Well, now we can actually put it all together and get exactly what you're looking for, something fairly close.
Because I love our house.
Yeah.
There's just modifications that would make the house that much more what we wanted. But at the time, they weren't so flexible. They weren't so flexible.
That's a good
I was happy
example.
to get what
you
we
could.
got.
Yeah, and you did get quite a bit for what they were offering at the time.
We did. But that was not without, you going to bat for us a lot. I mean, I'd come to Randy and say, I have an idea. And he'd be like, give it to me.
And that's how it was, honestly, because even though I was kind of hamstrung with I'm not supposed to come to the builders with all these extra perks, because it turns into a semi-custom home. Those big breaths I take is because I really wanted to. I knew there's always a way to get your point across so they can make a difference, that they can make a decision, I guess, a little bit easier for them. And that's where you guys see me drawing plans. I do all this extra work because I know it'll be hard for them to say no, because I'd like to remind the builders exactly that. I thought we are builders. I know you guys can do this. It's just a matter, do you want to or not? I'm trying to help us, improve the product, if anything, because that's the one thing. I am not one to sit back and like you had mentioned, cookie cutter, this and that. I mean, that's one thing I respect about the builders that are in here. They are good builders, and they can build. You just have to remind them sometimes of a few extra things that we can do just to enhance the product and to create that better relationship and to give the buyer back. and appreciation. And that's exactly what's happened here. So very appreciative of that. But yes, so that's the big thing that we're all going to go after. And you guys are going to be the perfect example. Is what we're going to do is try to take advantage of the market at this time, which again, we can't control interest rates, which is fine. But what we can control is what can we place from a value standpoint to basically not do a lateral move. You're going to actually do an enhanced move, but at the same price. Right. That's what's going to be so much fun. And I know we're going to be able to do it. I've done the numbers already. We're working on everything as long as everyone's reasonable. And we've talked about that because you can't get everything. A one-sided deal isn't good for anybody. Right. It's got to be fair for both sides because there's a lot of work. And that's where I come into play. I'm that middleman. I'm that transaction broker who sits in the middle and wants everyone to behave, and to just come together and be a fair deal. Because that's one thing I'll give my father-in-law. That is a heck of a man right there. But I mean, he basically taught us that, if you go into a deal, he was the guy they put into the room. You go make the deals. And if both sides didn't feel like it was a fair deal, it wasn't a good deal at all. And that's the only thing I can say is that's the one thing that you'll definitely get with me is you're going to get everything from me. You've seen already some of the work I've done behind the scenes, but this is just the beginning. And you've already witnessed some of the other stuff. But this is going to be a lot of fun for us to do together. And that's what it's about. Because if you can make this home experience just different, just not the same, hey, I'm just going to buy this house. That's no. You're going to get to put your fingerprint on it. You're going to make it more for your family, not my family or anybody else's family. And then we're going to be able to do that because they're allowing us to go to those levels. And I appreciate you guys' trust to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Appreciate you as that liaison and the connection. You're the bridge between the builder strategy and the buyer's execution.
Well, a lot of hard work. I'll tell you this, that experience and trust, it comes because I've said it before, I care.
I don't know how much time we spent together.
It's been a lot.
We've spent a lot of time together. We walked that backyard trying to figure out the pool for 2 hours. We were supposed to meet for like a half hour, and 2 hours later, we're still standing there staring.
And that's a multiplier of every single buyer that comes in.
Yeah, and that's the thought process, and that's the thing too. Is I want to treat everyone the same, and listen. Obviously, I know what can and cannot be done, but it's a team deal. It is. It's teamwork.
It's funny because earlier you had mentioned people ask you the question, "How can you live in this neighborhood?" I think that removes the transactional approach to more of a relationship approach. Fantastic. Which is what people want to buy from. They don't want to be transactional. They want a relationship buy.
Well, I didn't even really know what your role was. I just learned, because they were like, well, do you have your own agent? I was like, isn't that Randy? Yeah. And they're like, well, no, he's for the builder. And I was just like, I don't think so, because he does a lot for me.
Correct.
So I was just,
and that's a misconception.
I just trusted.
I'm glad.
I just trusted. I just met Randy, and I knew he was someone I could trust and get the job done, and we did that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I appreciate it. Yeah, indeed. This is just the beginning. So, yeah. So lots of opportunities for people, especially, again, we're going to keep emphasizing, take advantage of the opportunities now because they don't last. They don't last, especially at this level where you're going to be able to enhance your home, enhance your value, enhance your investment, which we all know our home is one of the biggest investments you'll ever do for everybody in their lives. So we're going to take that and not just make it a simple thing. We're going to put the care, the thought, everything that you spoke about, and that's what it means to me. It says your investment's my investment because this is what I do. This is what I promised I would do. This is what a real estate agent should do. Invest themselves, not just into the process as it being just a sale. No, this is somebody's life. This is somebody's money. This is somebody's investment. They've got a family too, and everything will work itself out. So I'm going to give you everything I got, like I always do. And for anybody else who trusts me, you'll get the same experience. And I love this job.
One of the things you said when we were building, he's like, you can always tell who's building a home for their family versus who's just building. Because I was thinking and envisioning of us living there and what's going to make it our home. And you said that.
And that's why it was easy for me to fight for you because I'm a family guy. And that's where even the builders I worked for 20 years, they will tell me certain things. No, but I remind them, I say, well, guys, you're not living in the home, and they kind of pause and say, okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. And so you learn along the way. If you listen, you'll learn. That's really what it comes down to it.
And we certainly invite people with kids to Powell Landing East. It would be a wonderful opportunity to live amongst other families.
So far, we've got 2 big families actually moving in. Yeah. So, yeah.
The best part about living here so far, and I mean this, is when one day we walked outside and your kids' bikes and our kids' stuff was just littered all throughout the front yard. And that's when kids are having a good time right now because all their stuff is just on a driveway. You can't back out a car.
Laughs and giggles in the back.
That was just a very endearing moment because for a split second, it was reverting back to my childhood.
Yes.
You always knew where the kids were because the bikes were all over the front yard.
And that's what made it attractive for me, especially at Powell Landing East, that same feeling of just the vastness of what the kids could play in and enjoy and experience life as kids. So I'm looking forward to it myself. So, yeah. So we appreciate you guys coming over and giving your little take on your experience with us. But it's just the beginning. Just the beginning.